The small human outpost had never seen a wedding like this before. The hall was lit with glowing alien crystals, humming with a soft energy that made the air feel alive. Men and women from Earth sat nervously beside tall, graceful alien figures, dressed in shimmering silks. The two species rarely mixed and almost never in marriage. Yet tonight was different. Tonight, a human had married one of the most beautiful alien women ever seen. Her name was Serenia, daughter of a noble alien house. Her skin shimmered faintly with a silver glow, as if moonlight followed her wherever she walked. Her eyes were bright violet, deep and endless like a starry sky. When she looked at him, her new human husband felt his heart skip. He never believed he could have her, yet somehow he did. The man's name was Ethan Halla, a soldier once. Now a traitor on the border worlds, Ethan had lived a life of danger and loneliness. His fellow humans whispered that he was either brave or foolish to marry an alien noblewoman. But Ethan had never cared about whispers. When he met Serenia, he felt something inside him he had never felt before: peace. The wedding had been fast, too fast for many. A few humans muttered that it was suspicious. Why would an alien beauty from a powerful family choose a lone human? But when Ethan looked at her, he saw no trick. He saw a woman who touched his hand like he was more than a stranger in her world. Night after the feast, Serenia led Ethan to her chambers. The room was large, filled with silken sheets and glowing lanterns that floated in the air like tiny suns. The bed itself was enormous, carved from crystal and soft as clouds. Ethan felt nervous, though he tried to hide it. He had faced death in battle, but this was something he could not prepare for. Serenia smiled softly. "Tonight," she whispered, "you are not soldier or traitor, you are mine." Ethan laughed nervously and kissed her hand. "I've never been anyone's before," he said. But as they lay together, as the night grew quiet, something strange happened. That the door creaked. Ethan froze. He turned his head. The door to the chamber was opening slowly, carefully, as if someone did not want to be noticed. His soldier's instinct returned at once. His muscles tensed, ready to fight. "Serenia," he whispered. "Someone is here." But she did not move. She only kept her eyes on him, calm, almost expectant. Then shadows slipped inside. Ethan sat up, heart pounding. At least 3 figures entered the room, tall and graceful like Serenia. For a moment he thought intruders had come to kill him. His hand reached for the knife he still kept, hidden under his belt, but then the lantern light fell across their faces. They were women, alien women, and not strangers. They looked like Serenia, too much like her. Their silver skin gleamed, their eyes glowed violet, and their features carried the same noble beauty. But each was different in her own way. One had hair black as space, tied in braids that shimmered with jewels. Another had golden markings across her cheeks, glowing faintly as if alive. The last was taller, sharper, her beauty fierce and dangerous. Ethan's breath caught. Who are they?" Serenia finally spoke, her voice soft but steady. "My sisters." Ethan blinked. "Your sisters?" The 3 women stood at the foot of the bed, silent, watching him like hunters watch prey. He felt the weight of their eyes pressing down on him. "Yes," Serenia said, her voice almost sad. "You married me, Ethan Hall, but our custom, our bond, it is never only with one." Ethan's chest tightened. He remembered whispers during the feast, words spoken in languages he did not know, laughter that sounded nervous. Was this what they meant? Was this the secret no one told him? "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice rough. The tallest sister stepped forward. Her violet eyes glowed in the half-light, sharp as blades. "It means," she said slowly, "that you are not husband to one of us. You are bound to all of us." Ethan felt his blood run cold. Bound? To all of them? He looked at Serenia, but she only lowered her eyes, ashamed. The room seemed smaller now. The bed that once looked soft and welcoming now felt like a trap. His instincts screamed at him something was wrong, deeply wrong. Yet, a strange part of him could not look away. Each sister was breathtaking in her own way, their beauty almost unreal. He should have felt terror. Instead, he felt caught between fear and desire. Serenia touched his arm gently. "Forgive me," she whispered. "I wanted to tell you, but I feared you would run." Ethan's voice was low. "You should have told me before the wedding." The black-haired sister smiled faintly, but there was no kindness in her smile. "Would you have stayed?" she asked. He did not answer. He could not. The sisters moved closer. Their steps were slow, deliberate, silent as shadows. Ethan's heart thundered in his chest. He felt like prey trapped in a cage, yet something inside him whispered that this was only the beginning. Lanterns flickered. The air grew warmer. And Ethan realized something terrifying. This marriage was never about love alone. It was about tradition. It was about power. It was about all of them. The night had only begun. Ethan did not sleep that night. He lay awake on the vast crystal bed, his mind racing. Serenia was curled against his chest, her silver glow faint like a soft candle, but her sisters lingered near the edges of the chamber, watching, waiting. He had thought them intruders, but they had made no move to attack. Instead, they whispered in their own tongue, words he could not understand, voices smooth as silk yet sharp as blades. When the dawn's pale light filtered through the crystal walls, the sisters were still there. Ethan finally sat up, his eyes hard. "Enough games, tell me what this is." Serenia's face tightened. Her hands trembled as she folded them in her lap. But it was not she who spoke first. The black-haired sister stepped forward, her jeweled braids catching the sunlight like tiny stars. "We are not here to harm you, human," she said, her voice calm, almost cold. "We are here to judge you." "Judge me?" Ethan repeated. His soldier's instinct flared again. He hated being cornered, hated being treated like prey. "For what? I married Serenia, not all of you." The golden-marked sister tilted her head, her glowing patterns shifting like living fire. "That is where you are wrong." Ethan's stomach turned. He looked at Serenia, but she lowered her eyes in shame. "What are they talking about?" he demanded. Finally Serenia whispered, "In my world, Ethan, when a man marries one of us, he marries the bloodline. It is our custom. It is our law." Ethan felt the words like a blow. His fists clenched. "And you thought to tell me this? After the vows? After the wedding night?" Tears shimmered in Serenia's violet eyes. "I feared you would leave me, and I could not bear to lose you." The tall, fierce sister, the one who had spoken last night, stepped closer. Her presence filled the room, commanding and dangerous. "Whether you bear it or not is no longer the question," she said. "The pact is made. You are bound. Now, you must prove yourself worthy of us." Ethan's jaw tightened. "And if I refuse?" Her lips curved into a thin smile. "Then your marriage ends before it truly begins. And you will not leave this house alive." The threat hung in the air, like a blade. For a long moment, no one moved. Ethan's breath came slow and heavy. He had survived battles with raiders, duels with mercenaries, and the burning deserts of dead worlds, but nothing had prepared him for this. He scanned their faces. 3 sisters, each different, yet bound together in this strange tradition. The black-haired one cold and sharp, the golden-marked one glowing with a strange warmth, and the tall sister who radiated danger with every breath. And Serenia, the woman he had chosen, caught between love and law. Ethan finally broke the silence. "If I'm bound to you, then what do you want from me?" The golden-marked sister stepped forward, her eyes softer than the others. "We want to know if you are strong enough to carry our legacy." "You must be tested." Ethan frowned. "Tested how?" The black-haired one smiled faintly, her jeweled braids clinking softly. In every way that matters. They did not explain. Further, instead, they moved as one, circling him, their voices rising in a low chant. The room seemed to hum with strange energy, the crystals in the walls vibrating in answer. Ethan felt the air grow heavy, pressing down on him. Then the chanting stopped. The tall sister leaned close, her violet eyes inches from his. The first test begins tonight. Ethan's pulse hammered. What kind of test? Her smile was cold. A test of loyalty. He opened his mouth to argue, but Serenia touched his arm gently. Please, Ethan, she whispered. Do not fight this. If you wish to stay with me, you must endure them. Only then will they accept you. Ethan stared at her, torn between love and fury. He had wanted a wife, a partner. Instead, he had walked into a nest of secrets and shadows. Yet when he looked at her, truly looked at her, he could not turn away. Fine, he growled. If it's loyalty you want, I'll show you loyalty. But know this, I don't break easily. The sisters exchanged glances, silent but filled with meaning. A strange smile touched Serenia's lips, though sorrow lingered in her eyes. The tall one stepped back, her voice like steel. Then be ready, human. Tonight we will see what your vows are truly worth. Ethan's heart pounded as the sisters filed out, their silver forms vanishing into the glowing halls beyond. Only Serenia remained, her fingers lightly brushing. You are brave, she whispered. But bravery is not always enough. Ethan's jaw clenched as he looked toward the door where the sisters had gone. Something told him this was only the beginning, and whatever waited tonight would push him further than any battlefield ever had. The pact was sealed, and the game had just begun. Ethan had faced ambushes in dark alleys, firefights on broken moons, and betrayals from men he once called friends. But nothing had felt as heavy as this moment. That evening, when the alien sun set behind the crystal towers, Serenia led him into a hidden chamber deep within her family's estate. The air inside was cool, almost too still. The walls glowed, faintly etched with symbols that pulsed as if alive. Ethan knew at once. This was no ordinary room. The three sisters were waiting. The black-haired one stood in the shadows, her jeweled braids glittering like sharp daggers. The golden-marked sister glowed softly, her patterns shifting like living fire across her cheeks. And the tall, fierce one, the leader, stood before a great stone altar, her violet eyes unblinking. Ethan felt his throat tighten. So this is it? The test? The tall sister's voice carried through the chamber, cold and sharp. Yes, the test of loyalty. Tonight we will see if your vows are truth or empty human words. Serenia touched Ethan's arm gently, whispering, Be careful. They twist their tests. Nothing is ever simple. Ethan gave a small nod. His soldier's instinct told him the same. The golden-marked sister stepped closer. Her voice was calm, even kind, yet her words struck deep. You must choose, human. One of us holds your wife's life in her hands. The other two hold only lies. If you trust the wrong sister, Serenia will pay the price. Ethan's blood turned cold. What are you talking about? The black-haired one smiled faintly, her teeth gleaming. It is simple. We each hold a blade. Two are harmless illusions. One is real, dipped in poison. If your loyalty is true, you will know which hand protects Serenia and which hand would kill her. Ethan's eyes darted between them. Each sister raised her hand, and indeed, 3 blades shimmered in the crystal light. They looked the same, each one glowing faintly. He couldn't tell illusion from truth. Rage burned in his chest. This is madness. You'd threaten your own sister? The tall one's eyes narrowed. This is our way. If you falter, then you are unworthy of her. If you succeed, then we know your bond is real. Ethan looked at Serenia. She was pale, her violet eyes wide with fear. Ethan, she whispered, trust your heart. The sisters began to circle him, slow and silent, like predators. Their blades caught the light, identical, impossible to tell apart. Ethan steadied his breathing. He had been in worse traps. He knew fear only clouded the mind. He studied their eyes, their movements, every detail. The black-haired sister smirked, confident. The golden-marked one seemed softer, but her glow shifted strangely, hiding something. The tall sister never broke her gaze, daring him to fail. Finally, Ethan's instincts spoke. He stepped forward, grabbed the wrist of the black-haired sister, and yanked the blade from her hand. Her smirk vanished. The blade shimmered once, then dissolved into smoke. An illusion. Ethan turned sharply, facing the tall sister. His voice was low, steady. "It's you. You're the one who holds the true blade. You always lead. You always threaten. You wouldn't give power to the others. You'd keep it yourself." For the first time, the tall sister's eyes flickered, not with anger, but with surprise. Slowly, she lowered her blade. The weapon gleamed, and then melted into her hand like living silver. The poison hissed as it vanished. The test was over. Golden-marked sister let out a soft laugh. Impressive. Few humans would have seen through us so quickly. The black-haired one scowled, her pride wounded. "Luck," she muttered. "That is all." But the tall sister raised a hand, silencing them. Her gaze lingered on Ethan, sharp, yet unreadable. Not luck, instinct, perhaps loyalty. Ethan clenched his fists. "You play with lives. You think loyalty is a game. Where I come from, loyalty means you fight beside someone until the end. You don't test it with poison and tricks." The tall sister's lips curved into a faint smile. "And yet, you passed." Ethan turned to Serenia, pulling her close. She trembled, but her smile was bright with relief. For the first time she looked at him not with shame, but with pride. The sisters exchanged glances. Something unspoken passed between them, something Ethan could not read. Finally, the tall one spoke again. "One test is complete. But do not think this makes you one of us. There are more trials to come." Ethan met her eyes, unflinching. "Then bring them. I've faced worse than this, and I'm still here." The black-haired sister sneered. "We shall see." The golden-marked one only smiled, her gaze softer, almost curious. "Perhaps the human heart is stronger than we thought." As they left the chamber, Ethan held Serenia's hand tight. She whispered, "You don't know how much you risked tonight." Ethan shook his head. "Doesn't matter. I gave you my word. That's all I need." But deep inside, as the echo of their footsteps faded, he knew one thing. This was only the beginning. The loyalty test had been just a taste. The next trial would cut deeper. The night after the loyalty test, Ethan thought he would finally find peace. He was wrong. The great crystal estate grew silent as alien moons drifted above. The halls glowed faintly with silver light, casting long shadows. Ethan sat at the edge of the massive bed, still shaken from the trial with the poisoned blade. Serenia brushed his arm gently, trying to soothe him, but her sisters gathered once again at the doorway. The tall, fierce one entered first, her eyes sharp as ever. Behind her came the golden-marked sister, glowing softly, followed by the black-haired one, her jeweled braids swaying like silent chains. They moved with purpose, as if the night itself bent to their will. Ethan frowned. Another test? The tall sister's voice was steady, almost ceremonial. "No, tonight is not a test. Tonight is a ritual." Ethan stiffened. "What kind of ritual?" The golden-marked one stepped forward, her glowing patterns shifting across her face. "The bed ritual. In our tradition, no marriage is sealed until the bond is shared not only with the wife, but with the bloodline." Ethan's chest tightened. He glanced at Serenia. She lowered her eyes, guilt flickering across her silver skin. "I wanted to prepare you," she whispered. "But there is no preparing for this." The black-haired sister smirked, her tone sharp. Do not fear, human. This is not about lust alone. It is about trust, closeness, and unity. If you cannot share the bed with all of us, then you are not worthy to share it with even one. Ethan's heart pounded. You mean, all of you? Together? The tall sister's gaze did not waver. Yes, tonight, you lie beside us. You must not flee, you must not falter. Only then will we know you are truly bound. Ethan swallowed. Hard. This was not the battlefield. This was something stranger, more intimate, and somehow more dangerous. His mind screamed to resist, but Serenya's trembling hand gripped his. He saw the plea in her eyes. If he refused, he would lose her. The sisters approached the bed, slow and deliberate. The golden-marked one lay at his left side, her glow warm and soothing. The black-haired one slid onto the sheets at his right, her presence sharp, almost mocking. Serenya rested near his chest, her breath quick and anxious. And then, last of all, the tall sister lay behind him, her aura cold and commanding. Ethan had never felt so trapped. Surrounded by alien beauty, pressed between warmth and danger, his body tensed like a coiled spring. The golden-marked sister whispered, Relax, human. This is not a trial of flesh, it is a trial of spirit. If your heart wavers, we will know, the black-haired one smirked. And if you tremble too much, we will know that too. The tall one spoke last, her voice low and final. Close your eyes, accept the bond. Or fail. Ethan's breath came slow and heavy. He closed his eyes. At once, he felt their presence, not just their touch, but their thoughts. The ritual was not physical alone. It was psychic, a merging of minds. Flashes of memory struck him, images of Serenya as a child beneath alien skies, the black-haired sister in secret duels, the golden-marked one healing the sick with her glowing hands, the tall one commanding armies with a voice of fire. Their lives, their fears, their desires all poured into him like rivers into the sea. Ethan gasped. His heart raced as their emotions pressed against his own. Some were tender, some cold, some fierce. He felt himself drowning in them. Stay with us. Serenya's voice whispered in his mind. Do not break, hissed the black-haired one. Endure, urged the golden-marked. Submit, commanded the tall one. Ethan's body trembled, sweat beating across his forehead. He wanted to scream, to tear himself free, but deep inside, a soldier's instinct steadied him. He clenched his fists, grounding himself. I won't break, he whispered aloud. Not for this, not for anything. And then, something changed. The flood of alien thoughts softened. Their voices blended into one, no longer pulling him apart, but surrounding him like a storm that carried him, instead of drowning him. The bond was painful, yes, but it was also powerful. For the first time, he felt what they felt, every doubt, every fear, every hidden longing, and they in turn felt his. His battles, his scars, his loneliness, and the deep, quiet love he held. For Serenya, the sisters drew in sharp breaths. For the first time, their expressions shifted, not cold, not mocking, but surprised. The ritual ended suddenly. The psychic tide withdrew, leaving Ethan gasping for breath. His chest heaved, his body drenched in sweat. The sisters rose from the bed one by one, silent, thoughtful. The golden-marked one placed her hand on his shoulder, stronger than I imagined. The black-haired one's smirk was gone, replaced by something colder. This is not over. The tall sister lingered last, her violet eyes unreadable. You endured the bed ritual. Few could. Perhaps you are more than human. Ethan sat up, his voice hoarse. Or maybe I'm just too stubborn to let you break me. Serenya wrapped her arms around him, whispering through tears. You did. You truly did it. But Ethan's gaze remained on the sisters as they left the chamber. Their silence told him one thing: this was no victory. This was only another step deeper into a world of secrets, and he knew the next trial would be far worse. Asterisk. The bed ritual had ended, but sleep did not come easily to Ethan. His body was exhausted, yet his mind raced with flashes of alien memories that were not his own. He had felt their lives, their emotions, their deepest secrets. Now, even when he closed his eyes, their voices whispered faintly in the back of his skull. Serenia clung to him, breathing softly, but Ethan could not rest. Something felt wrong. The room was too still, the silence too heavy. His soldiers. Instincts told him danger was close. When the moons rose high, the door creaked open. Ethan sat up at once, his hand reaching for the knife under his pillow. A shadow slipped inside Dot. It was the black-haired sister. Her jeweled braids shimmered in the moonlight, her eyes glowing faintly violet. But unlike before, there was no ceremony, no ritual. She moved quietly, her steps sharp, deliberate. "What do you want?" Ethan growled, her lips curved into a thin smile. "You passed the ritual, impressive, but you are not one of us yet. You still belong to her, and that is what I cannot accept." Ethan's grip tightened on the knife. "You mean Serenia?" The sister nodded slowly, her eyes narrowing. "She is weak. She chose you out of loneliness, not strength. You don't belong to her, you belong to me." Ethan's pulse quickened. He wasn't sure if it was fear or fury or something else. She was beautiful, dangerously so, her presence filling the room like smoke. "I don't belong to anyone," Ethan said firmly. The black-haired sister stepped closer. "Then prove it. Tonight you will lie with me, not her. If you do, I will make you untouchable in this house. If you refuse—" Her smile turned sharp. "I will see to it that Serenia is cast out, maybe worse." Ethan's blood ran cold. This wasn't just a test, it was a trap. Serenia stirred beside him, half asleep, whispering his name. The black-haired sister's eyes flicked to her, then back to Ethan. "Choose carefully, human. One wrong step, and she pays the price." Ethan's mind raced. He had fought soldiers with guns, but this was different. This was war of hearts, of power, of hidden knives. If he gave in, he would betray Serenia. If he refused, her jealous sister might destroy her. The black-haired woman reached out, her fingers brushing his chest. Cold and electric, her touch made his skin shiver. "Don't think, decide, now." Ethan's hand still gripped the knife. Under the sheets. For a heartbeat, he imagined striking her, ending the threat. But something stopped him. If he attacked, the family would call it betrayal. He would be the outcast Dot, so he did the only thing he could. He leaned closer, his voice low. "You think you can tempt me? You think I'll betray Serenia that easily?" Her smile faltered, just slightly. Ethan pressed the knife point against her side, hidden by the sheets. She stiffened, her eyes narrowing. "I've fought men who wanted me dead," Ethan whispered. "I've faced death in deserts and in space. Do you think your little games scare me? If you ever threaten her again, I won't hesitate." For a long, tense moment, neither of them moved. The black-haired sister's smile slowly returned, but it was thinner, edged with something darker. "You are bolder than I thought," she whispered. "Perhaps even dangerous." Then she stepped back, her jeweled braids swaying. "Very well. Tonight you have defied me. But know this, every choice has a price. When the time comes, you will regret this." With that, she slipped out of the room, silent as a shadow. Ethan let out a slow breath, lowering the knife. His hands were shaking, though he would never admit it. Serenia stirred again, her soft voice whispering, "What's wrong?" He pulled her close, kissing her forehead. "Nothing. Go back to sleep." But his mind screamed the truth. It was not nothing. The black-haired sister had set a trap and Ethan had barely escaped. He knew she would not stop Dot, and as the moons drifted behind the towers, Ethan realized something chilling. His marriage was not just a union, it was a battlefield. Every night, Every word, every choice was a fight to survive, and the war inside this family was only getting darker. The next morning, Ethan was summoned. 2 guards in silver armor came for him at dawn. They said nothing, only gestured for him to follow. Serenia clung to his hand, her violet eyes filled with worry, but she did not speak. She knew what this meant. The sisters had warned him, every bond had to be tested before the family would accept him. And now, after the loyalty trial, after the bed ritual, after the black-haired sister's forbidden strap, Ethan was to face something greater. The family council. The chamber of judgment was vast. Its walls were carved crystal, glowing faintly, with alien runes that seemed to shift and breathe. A circle of alien nobles sat in high chairs, their silver skin shining like polished stone. Their eyes violet, cold, unblinking, followed Ethan as he entered. At the center stood the 3 sisters, Serenia at their side. The tall sister raised her hand, commanding silence. "This human has taken Serenia as his wife," she declared. "He has shared our rituals, survived our tests. But he has not yet proven he is worthy of her bloodline. Today, he will." Ethan's steps echoed as he moved to the center of the chamber. He stood tall, shoulders squared, his soldier's instinct pushing down his fear. Dozens of alien eyes bore into him, judging, weighing. An elder noble leaned forward. His voice was deep, cracked with age, but strong. "Human, why do you claim this union? Do you seek power, wealth? Or do you seek to bind our daughters for your own gain?" Ethan's jaw clenched. He spoke clearly, his voice echoing. "I didn't marry Serenia for power or wealth. I married her because she chose me, and I chose her. That's all." Murmurs rippled through the council. Some scoffed, others whispered. The black-haired sister smirked faintly, her eyes glittering with unspoken malice. The golden-marked one watched him closely, almost curiously. Serenia trembled, praying he would not falter. The tall sister raised her hand again. "Words are air. We do not judge air, we judge truth. And truth is revealed by trials." Ethan gritted his teeth. More trials? The tall sister's lips curved faintly. One final trial. Before the family, before Serenia, before us all. You must face judgment. The floor beneath Ethan glowed suddenly. The rooms lit up, forming a circle around him. Energy hummed in the air, sharp and heavy. Serenia gasped. "No, not the circle." Ethan's eyes darted to her. "What's the circle?" Her voice shook. "It is the trial of truth. It pulls your heart open. It shows your deepest self. If you are false, it destroys you." Ethan's blood chilled, but he did not move. He stood firm, fists clenched, his heart pounding like a drum. The runes flared brighter. At once, Ethan felt a force inside him, tearing at his chest, his vision blurred. Images flashed his battles, his scars, the men he had killed, the loneliness that followed him everywhere. He felt his failures, his regrets, every doubt, every fear. The council watched in silence. Serenia's eyes filled with tears. The sisters stared, each with different expressions. Curiosity, suspicion, hunger. Ethan gritted his teeth, refusing to fall. "You want truth?" he shouted. "Here it is. I am no saint. I've killed, I've bled. I've lost more than you can imagine, but when I gave Serenia my word, I meant it. I will not betray her. I will not run. That's the truth." The energy around him pulsed, brighter, hotter, burning his skin. His knees buckled, but he forced himself to stand. Sweat poured down his face, his muscles trembling. The circle glowed one final time, and then, suddenly, it faded. Silence filled the chamber. The runes dimmed. Ethan stood tall, chest heaving, but unbroken. The elder leaned back slowly. His violet eyes gleamed faintly. He did not lie. His heart is heavy, but true. Murmurs swept through the council, sharper this time. Some nodded in approval. Others frowned in doubt. The tall sister finally spoke, her voice low, commanding. The council has seen his truth. He is not perfect, but he is loyal. He stands. The golden-marked sister smiled faintly. Perhaps the human heart is stronger than ours believed. The black-haired one's eyes narrowed. Or perhaps he is clever enough to deceive even the circle. The elder raised a hand, silencing them all. The human has endured. For now he's accepted. But remember this, Ethan. Hill, your trials are never over. A bond with one of us is a bond with all. Fail one, and you fail all. Ethan met their eyes, unflinching. Then I'll keep standing, no matter what you throw at me. Serenia rushed to his side, her arms wrapping around him. Relief shone in her face, her tears glowing like silver drops. The council dismissed him, but Ethan knew this was no victory. He had survived the circle, but the war inside this family was not finished. And as the sisters watched him leave, each with their own hidden smile, Ethan realized something chilling. Their final plan for him had not yet been revealed. The council's judgment should have ended everything. Ethan had passed their trial of truth, his heart exposed and found loyal. He thought he could finally breathe, finally call Serenia his wife without more shadows pressing over them. But that night, the sisters returned. The chamber was dark except for the silver glow of the moons. Ethan sat on the edge of the massive crystal bed, his hand resting on Serenia's. She leaned against him, tired but calm at last. Then, the door opened without a sound. The three sisters entered together. Not in ceremony, not in secret, this time in silence. With purpose. Ethan rose to his feet, tense. What now? Haven't you tested me enough? The tall sister's gaze was sharp. This is not a test. This is the choice. The golden-marked one added softly, the final choice every bonded human must make. The black-haired one smirked, but there was no humor in her eyes. And it will decide your fate. And hers. Ethan's grip tightened on Serenia's hand. Explain. The tall sister stepped forward. You swore to Serenia. You survived our trials. The council has seen your truth. But you cannot belong to one and not the others. Tonight, you choose accept all of us as yours, or reject the pact and lose Serenia forever. The words struck like a blade. Ethan froze. His eyes flicked to Serenia. She was pale, her lips trembling. Ethan, I never wanted this to happen to you. I only wanted you. The sisters' eyes glowed in the moonlight, each waiting, each hungering for his decision. Ethan's chest felt tight. He thought of Earth, of human vows where one man gave his life to one woman. But here, on this alien world, things were different. Their customs were sharp, their traditions binding. If he refused, Serenia would be torn away from him. If he accepted, his life would no longer be his alone. The golden-marked sister stepped closer, her voice soft, almost kind. Do not see this as chains, see it as family. You would not only have a wife, but sisters who will guard you, share with you, live with you. The black-haired one's lips curved, or fear it as a trap. Either way, your answer seals everything. Ethan closed his eyes. He remembered the trials, the poisoned blades, the bed ritual, the circle of truth. Each one had tried to break him, but through all of it, only one thing had kept him standing: Serenia's touch. Her quiet strength, the way she looked at him as if he was more than just a soldier, more than just a human drifting through alien lands. He opened his eyes and looked straight at the sisters. His voice was steady. I made a vow to Serenia, and that vow was to love her. If loving her means accepting all of you, then I will, but not because of your rituals, not because of your threats, because she is mine, and I will not let her go. The chamber went silent. The golden-marked sister's eyes widened faintly, her glow softening. The black-haired one stiffened, her smirk faltering. The tall sister stared, unreadable, before finally nodding once. You have chosen. she said. Not out of weakness, out of strength. Serenia gasped, tears shining in her eyes. She threw her arms around Ethan, holding him tightly. You don't know what this means to me. Ethan kissed her hair, whispering, I don't care about your laws. I care about you. That's my choice. But even as he held her, he felt the sisters' eyes on him. Their expressions were strange, not victory, not defeat, but something deeper. The golden-marked one smiled faintly. Perhaps this is how it begins. The black-haired one muttered, or how it ends. And the tall sister, her voice low and heavy with meaning, said, You are bound to us now, human. To Serenia, to her sisters, to our bloodline. And one day you will learn this was never just about love. It was about survival, for us, for you, for all of humanity. Ethan stiffened. What do you mean? But she said nothing more. The sisters turned and left the chamber, their silver forms vanishing into the night. Ethan held Serenia close, his heart heavy with questions. He had made his choice. He had kept his vow. But as the moons cast their pale glow, one thought burned in his mind. He had not only married a woman, he had inherited a destiny, and whatever it was coming for him.